let's talk about JJ a bit because, you were one of the first ones that were saying before it
Listen to me.
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to give you some credit.
That's all I'm saying. Listen to me.
See, I tried to give you some credit talking about Reggie Bush. You don't want it. Now I'm trying to give you some credit talking about your quarterback commentary.
I'm talking about that building of a quarterback, man. I know what I'm doing here, man.
Yeah, you do.
And judging.
When Cade was, the more experienced, I'm talking about not last year, but the year prior. He had experience. He was a leader in the locker room. To me, even though it was always clear that JJ was more talented, I understood why they didn't just want to ride through the growing pains of a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, I did.
But I know you didn't. I understand that. But year 2 made it very clear before the season started. I said, look, man, hey, my man, the only question is how healthy is he? If he's healthy enough to go, you gotta go with him because he takes the offense to another level.
Yeah.
Now they set up this competition, and I think the competition kind of affected Cade a bit. But obviously JJ rose to the occasion, and it took him a minute to get everything right, to get his arm calibrated, to get to the point where by the end of the season, a lot of things you were talking about he was capable of doing, we finally started seeing him make those calls toward the end of the year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is like talent is very clear. The talent that he had and the talent that he showed is very clear. But the intestinal fortitude, because I remember Deuce Package. I'm sure you talked to words about Deuce Package with me and Denard on the field at the same time. And it's hard to sit on the sideline. You don't know when you're going to get in. There's always a plan, but the plan will never go how it's supposed to. You don't know when you're going to get in, but then you get in and you perform, right? And then you come right back out. And then you get in and you perform. And then you come right back out, right? And so a lot of people say, oh, man, it's messing up the rhythm of the quarterback. What about the guy that's just going in cold? Did you ever think of that? How difficult it is to perform well knowing that it's first down and I need to make sure I get 5, right? Because if I get 5, this is a wasted play and they may not come back and I'm going to be watching the rest of this game, right? And then they were throwing them in and throwing passes. I never saw them warming up on the sideline, right? And so the ability to say, okay, it doesn't matter. I don't care. This is my opportunity and to be effective in that role was super impressive, man. And like I talked about with Jaden, it's the neck up stuff. Obviously, JJ immensely talented. He can do a lot of cool things. He's a runner as a thrower. But when you are able to do what he was able to do that first year, that shows the mental fortitude, right? The mental toughness to be able to deal with and weather the storm. And I'm just telling you, if you haven't played quarterback for University of Michigan, it's tough. And I'm not talking about the games. I'm talking about you fans, right? The scrutiny that you have to experience, you have to be mentally tough enough. And and not to mention the scrutiny of just being a quarterback in general, right? Not even for the University of Michigan. A quarterback, right? When you are preparing to be a quarterback, you're preparing to be a surgeon, the president of the United States. Like, everything falls on your shoulders. And for him to be able to deal with that with grace, right, and smiling all the way through. And there were some behind-the-scenes things that were going on that he was dealing with that was even more impressive, in my opinion, and we won't have to get into that. But I just knew that talent, fine, but mentally, because that's what you worry about with a talented freshman. Mentally, can he handle it? Absolutely, and I believed he could. And so I just knew when he had his opportunity, he was going to perform well. He was going to perform well. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind, and I was very clear. I stood on the table, and I was so happy to be proven right. I had a game at the time, right? So I'm just, I got a little side TV, how I do, and I'm just like, of course he is. You know what I mean? I'm just like, of course he is, because I said he would, right? And, I'm not, all-knowing. I'm not a fool, and I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
But I do know some things.
Well, here's one of the unique things about him. Like, he has special athletic talent. Mm-hmm. Like,
which is so weird because
the dude is a legit, he's a legit 4'5", 4'6" guy. I mean, he might be faster for 4'5",
yeah.
4'5", legit 4'5" guy. His arm,
his video game acceleration is going to be 97.
Yeah, and then he's a special arm talent.
Arm power and talent.
He has the athletic profile, so he's like
not super big, but he's a good sized guy. Like, he's looking me eye to eye.
But you were talking neck up. we're talking about Jay and talking about Brock Purdy. He has the neck up thing too, and there was a sequence in the Ohio State game where he missed the pass to Ronnie that you pointed out. You watch it. We showed that. And he was like, "Hey, that's when you knew." And I think they were down at the time. That's when you knew, like, they're gonna win this game.
Yeah, of course, man. Because when your teammates believe in you and they know what you're capable of, and you already believe in yourself, right? It's one thing to believe in yourself, right? And so we're all human, and you want to be mentally tough. And I coach these young kids, and I try to make them. You don't need anyone else to believe in you. It's you, right? Believe in yourself, right, and whatever. And so, but I also understand that they're humans, and I empathize with the position they're in. I understand that believing in yourself is one thing, but when you can get a group of other people, and especially guys that are older that you respect, right, or maybe in media, a guy that you respect, and Sam Webb to believe in you as well, it just adds almost like gasoline to the fire. Not like water, like gasoline. And it makes that competitive fire and that belief in yourself burn even hotter. And so seeing that, it was like, oh, no, there's no chance they're going to lose this game because guess what? They're going to have to try to throw the ball because, like you said, Donovan with the hand and Ohio State doing some things that maybe tried to stop the run game. They're going to have to lean on this young quarterback, and his team has the belief in him, and obviously he's fully confident in himself. And when you mix those two things together with a talented guy, it's in boxing they say it's curtains, right? Knockout. Good night, Irene. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Yeah. Well, they weren't quite Frazier at that point because we already dominated them the year before. But down goes Frazier in Columbus. Yeah. Right? I hadn't done that in a long time. Down goes Frazier.
Yeah, it takes it to another level, and like we talked about the pressure that's on them, it is immense, and they're going to be breaking in a new quarterback. That's not to say that they're going to be pushovers. I don't expect them to be. But if Michigan,
they should be.
Yeah, if Michigan is as dialed in as I expect them to be this year, because you see it in the offseason, man. You talk to any of these guys, they are so locked in. They're so motivated by the opportunity that they left on. They should have won that TCU game. Every one of those guys.
Not only they should have won, they should have blew them out.
Should have blew them out.
They should have it shouldn't have been close. Like they allowed that's one of those times. I never really understood did they win did TCU win or did Michigan lose? I always thought what are you talking about? They lost and they won. Michigan lost that game, I think, and a lot of it was on JJ, and I think that is gonna, like I said, actively seeking failure. Now you don't want to seek failure in the semifinal game, but the fact that he was able to fail in that way and show how talented he was to bring him back within a score.
Yeah, he did.
I think that was best case scenario. If we're gonna lose the game, I would have rather lost it like that, so that you have that burning desire all off season, like you're talking about. We've never seen him work as hard. He's always worked hard, but he's all over the country, just seeking out as much as possible, trying to become the best quarterback he can be. And I think a part of that, if you win the national championship, you don't have a true reason to do as much as that as he's doing. And I think that fire brewing is hot, man.
Yeah, man. And so this is not me taking it easy on JJ. Don't accuse me of that. But the first interception was on him. The second interception was as much on the call as it was on him. I'm gonna stand on the table for that and say, hey, man, that's one of the reasons why I think this year is gonna be different. And that you got Sharon Moore, who is gonna be a head coach next year. So, understand that as you're watching this thing unfold this year, enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. Savor what you're seeing.
Because it seems like, wait, why wasn't Sharon listening to him last year? Remember, it was dual play calling.
It was dual play calling.
And so in certain areas of the field and certain down and this or whatever.
Third down and red zone was not Sharon Moore.
Exactly, right? And so I didn't know if we could share that, but there you go. Sam shared it. And so, it sounds like, man, why wouldn't Sharon listen to him? In the field, the offense looked pretty flawless, in my opinion. It seems like he was being listened to, and then, the thing is and Weiss, smart guy. Everybody says he's super smart. But when you're super smart sometimes, right, and you haven't been in that fire as a player in that, right, he's a punter or whatever. But when you haven't been in that fire, it's like, in my brain, this should work. So why are you complaining? You're a sophomore. Why are you complaining about this? This should work.
I do. I mean,
and the thing is, it's hard to get out of it, right? It's hard to get out of this should work. In my brain, because of what they're doing, this should work. But he ain't calculate 13 is having a game of his life, and we should probably not throw over there a lookie.
Oh, dude. I'm so you brought the lookie up.
Yeah.
I have seen and heard that play so much that I know. Oh, one high, sit
Because
side.
Borges loves it, and I hate it.
One high, sit side. Okay, two high, opposite the mic, right? If the mic goes strong, throw that lookie. If the mic goes weak, we going back to the sit side. It should work. I have never coached the game, and I'm telling you, this should work. Mm-hmm. You've been on the field, and you're saying, nah, man.
Nah, man. Because, the thing is like, everybody's talking about how tall a quarterback should be, right? And I'm a tall guy, and JJ's a tall guy. It doesn't matter unless you're 6'7", 6'8", you're not seeing over linemen with a quick drop, right? So a quick is a short route within 5 yards. So your drop will match that, a shorter drop. And if you're in shotgun, it's just catch and throw, right? So you're about 4 or 5 yards from the center and whatever. And they're backing, right? Because they're retreating because they're the offensive line. They can't go down the field. The closer they are, the less you can see, right? And so the whole thing it's always been about windows. I don't know who made up this thing, you need to be tall so you can see over the line. That's ridiculous because none of us can see over the line. But you do have to have do a good job of finding windows. And when it's a quick and the route is a slant right in front of where the offensive linemen are, it's hard to see, and I just don't like it. Should it work sometimes? Absolutely. Have I thrown it and completed and been successful with it? Yes, I have. I hated it every time. Borges, stop calling it. I don't like it.
But that's the point. So between Sharon taking the reins solely and Kirk Campbell and the technician he is and the connection he has with JJ and who JJ is and the work he's putting in, he's totally healthy. He actually went through an off season with the team. Remember, he didn't go through he didn't throw in spring ball.
That's why last year was even more impressive.
Yeah, didn't throw in the summer. He really didn't start throwing with the team until fall camp. So it's like now you got all this time on task and you're dialed in with the coaches.
You're not rehabbing. You're building your body up to be a premier athlete and a runner thrower like he is. Because you got to think about it. Last year it was all rehab. Right, he couldn't low bear, right? He couldn't put a bunch of weight on his back and squat as much as he probably wanted to and do all the things he wanted to because he had to protect his moneymaker, right? His throwing arm. And now, like you said, all those things are out the window. He can prepare physically as much mentally and do it with the team.